Well, greetings and welcome back to Garage Grubbin. We got a great recipe today. I think you're going to be quite excited when you realize what it is. So, who likes hot dogs? Everybody likes hot dogs. Who likes bacon? These are rhetorical questions. I don't expect a response, but I can imagine what the response is. Everybody loves bacon. So what happens if you combine a hot dog with bacon? Well, it's going to be indescribably delicious and impossible to resist. So, and by the way, you know, if you're keto, it's like you gotta do it. I gotta have a hot dog wrapped in bacon. It's perfect keto. Perfect keto. It's like on the list. It's part of the diet plan. So anyway, that's what we're gonna do today. And once again, it's simple, it's fun, and we're going to use our air fryer because it does a beautiful job and it's fast. So I'm going to show you how to make one wrapper. It's kind of a thing. It's easy, and then we'll crank up the old Cosori and get to work. Now I'm way ahead of you here. I've already made 3, as you can see, and I got one left over. Now this, by the way, these are Ballpark Weenies. They're good. I like Ballpark. I tell you what though, I like Nathan's Famous. I think they're the best. Now look, when it comes down to anything that has to do with taste, they say there's no accounting for taste, and there isn't. But I find Nathan's to be, have the nicest spice. I think they have a lot of garlic in them, and I really enjoy garlic. Of course, Oscar Mayer, hey, they invented the hot dog. Oh, well, if you ask them, they'll tell you they did, but I don't know who invented the hot dog, but I do know that Oscar Mayer are wonderful too. And they have the truck that goes around. So then there's that. Anyway, we're going to show you how to make one of these. And critical with an air fryer is you've got to keep in mind that it's basically an oven that has a small tornado inside. And that means that if you don't batten down the hatches in there, if food isn't, you know, kind of together and secured, it can fly all over the place. I mean, I tested a grilled cheese one time, and I opened up the drawer, and the cheese was like against the wall. The bread was on the other side. It was all burnt. You have got to secure the food in an air fryer. Just remember that. If the food has its own weight, its own ballast, then you don't. But if we don't pin the bacon like we have here to the dog, the bacon's going to be all over the place, the dogs are going to be all over the place. It'll be a mess. It'll be good, but as you know, the visual appeal, which I'm big on, won't be there. So let's wrap a dog real quickly here. So you take your bacon, and all you do is get it started up near the end, let the little butt part stick out a little bit, and then just start to roll. You know, kind of estimate the angle so you don't run out of bacon when you get to the end. And you want to overlap a bit too so it doesn't kind of fall apart. So I think we're doing pretty good. Okay, yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I'm a little bit more than I want on the butt end there, but I'm going to move it down a little bit. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It'll be okay. So take a toothpick, most important. And you want to do something very important here, very, very important, to make sure your toothpicks are aligned. You want them to be aligned. So that wasn't very good. You need to check the alignment there. So when they lay, so they can't roll over and spin. I mean, that's the whole point, is to pin them down. So that's not the best one I've made. These others are. I took more time. I guess I wasn't nervous, but there we have them. And in a few seconds, we're going to pop them in the air fryer on high, about 400, whatever. And I'm going to give them about 5 minutes and check them. And then we'll get back to you. You know, some friends and family have asked me, why do you cook in the garage? I mean, you got a house, you have a nice kitchen, seems to be adequate. Well, it really happened over a period of time because anyone who cooks in the home knows that if you cook it in the kitchen, the oven, the stove. It can heat up the kitchen, and then if it's an open house, you know, heat up the house. And then, or sometimes you get a grease or oil on that glass stove top, which is hard to clean, hard to keep really nice. Just like your phone, you know, it's always grimy. And or maybe some piece of cheese falls on the burner in the oven and creates that horrific stench which permeates the whole house. So I'll just say that over time I've learned that it's just easier in life and less stressful to figure out how to cook somewhere else. And the garage to me was the obvious spot. So I figured out after a while, and it was pretty challenging. If I got the right machines and set it up right, I could cook about anything pretty good in the garage. And so that's what this show's all about. It's kind of a minimalist show. I guess you could say it's a show for maybe tiny houses, because my garage is kind of like a tiny house. So, okay, we're back. And one thing about this recipe that's unusual from just about everything else I make is we don't need to add any more oil. I mean, we got bacon here and hot dogs. They have fat, so it's fine. So we're just going to lay them in the tray here. See, just like that. Boom. Yeah, just make them more artistically aligned, perhaps. And you know, we'll try to keep a little bit of space, you know, as possible. I think it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And we'll crank this thing up. And again, I'm gonna give it 5 minutes and then look at them. You do want to flip them, so they won't cook evenly, because if you look at this machine, it's serrated. It's got holes, and there's about a half an inch of distance between the holes here and the bottom tray, and that means the breezes, as this little tornado spins, come up from the bottom too. So it's going to cook from underneath as well. Not as well as the tops and the sides, but that means you don't have to be real anal or paranoid about flipping. But we will flip these after halfway. So we'll give it a shot here in a minute, and I'll see how we're doing in 5. And just so you know, I'm really doing this and not having takeout delivered by some barbecue place down the street. There's the Cosori, and I'm gonna slide them right in here. Bye-bye, doggies. And we're gonna turn it on 5, and as soon as I turn this, the fan's gonna go and it's gonna start that whirring sound, so it's gonna get a little loud, but I'm gonna kill it before it gets too painful. So I'm gonna just put the dial here in about 5 minutes, and bingo. We'll be back to check them out here shortly. Okay, I just heard the ding, the bell went off, so I'm gonna pull these out and see how we're looking. Well, I'd say we're looking mighty fine in here. How you doggies doing? Well, we're gonna flip them. See, they're cooking well on both sides. I don't know why I'm even doing this. It's obviously not needed, but it's just something about it. I just want to make sure we got uniformity. Okay, so we got uniformity, and now depending on how done you like your bacon, some people like it chewy. I like it a little more crunchy. I mean, I want to seem like it's actually cooked. So as an aside, a short story, I don't know, I was must have been 8 or 9, and I was at some kind of a party, picnic thing, and there was bacon. So I grabbed a piece of bacon and I started eating it, chewing it, swallowing it, and it was not, it was undercooked. That's all I'm gonna say. And I kept chewing it and swallowing and chewing, and all of a sudden I realized that it was all the way down my throat, and there was this little piece sticking out, and I couldn't swallow it. I was stuck. I started choking. So my mother was luckily right there, and I looked over and I waved, and she saw, of course, what she thought was bacon sticking out of my mouth. So she ran over, grabbed it, and just pulled it right out. And the whole thing came out. So needless to say, I cook my bacon. So I'm gonna give these another I don't know, 3 or 4. We'll see how we're doing. Okay, but that's how we're looking. So we're going back in the Cosori here, and I'll give them another 3 or 4 minutes. So our bell dinged, and we have what look like really nice bacon wrapped dogs. Put this thing. And I did give them another, I'd say another 4 to, not 5, 4 minutes. And boy, they look gorgeous. And we're gonna let them cool a little bit. And then we're gonna have either a snack or, oh, it's a big lunch. But the good news is if you're a keto-friendly type person, this is your diet. You could, I wouldn't recommend you live on it, but you should feel no guilt in eating these beautiful bacon wrapped hot dogs. So anyway, thanks for joining. I hope you'll be back so we can do some more grubbing together in the garage. Oh, your wife is calling. I wonder what I've gotten myself into this time. I'll be back.